Yeah, so I mean, I've spoken to your father many times, including for Servants, and we talked a bit about you writing and directing and on that
Mm.
show. I mean, at what point did you just say, okay, I'm going to do a feature? Here's this book. I mean, was it very fluid, or is it something you've been developing for many years?
It was, well, the kind of development process of this particular movie has been about 2 years now. I always was aiming to make a feature. I think that was the kind of intention of the form that I wanted to play in, and felt that I needed to kind of have a bit more muscles and technique under me before I was ready to approach that. So I sort of like used the projects before, the music videos and Servant, and working on my dad's movies to kind of help me get there. And then after I'd finished Servant, I felt like it was kind of time that I felt somewhat equipped enough to try and embark on this journey. And right at that moment, the book came, and I just felt like it was the perfect thing to do, and was so captivated by the story.
But was adapting something fairly new to you? Because I think it is a very different muscle to write something original versus adapting
Yeah.
something, a book.
Definitely, I think I kind of had drawn from other material before, but never done that exact process of adaptation. And I quite loved it. I think it was gave me the ability to kind of write and play freely while having this kind of safety net of a story that I already felt so passionate about and loved so much. So I think in terms of like those moments of writer's block and things like that, that I had this wonderful source material to kind of draw from and expand on.
Now, is the book actually based in Ireland? Is that
It
so? It
is.
was okay. So,
Yeah, yeah.
so did you decide you wanted to shoot in Ireland as well? Because I know obviously Philadelphia has kind of been the
Yes.
Shyamalan home base for decades. But getting out of it,
Definitely.
yeah. But getting out of there, going to Ireland, I mean, what was that like? The decision to do that, or
Yeah, well, the book is so kind of grounded in what life is like in Ireland. The author, Shine, is from Galway, and he loves it deeply. And so the book is sort of imbued with that sense of passion for that space. So I felt that immediately when reading it. And I really enjoy kind of the piece of filmmaking that you can kind of travel to any world and get to learn a different place and a different culture. So it was very much that for me, like a just an intrigue in the beauty of the world that he had built, and a desire for myself to kind of go be submerged in it.
does the book really describe the Watchers very much? Are they very well described or something like that, or did you have some freedom to kind of like I don't know if you draw storyboards or anything like that. I mean,
Yeah.
do you do sketches and try to figure out what the Watchers are going to look like, or?
Absolutely. Yes, it was kind of the book layout is very similar to sort of how the movie exists, where it's really drawing out the mystery for the majority of the piece. And then there's kind of like one satiating moment in the book where you get kind of all this visceral, beautiful detail. So I was kind of replicating that structural form. But for me, it was a very kind of exploratory process of finding kind of images and things that resonated with me, that scared me. I did have a wonderful storyboard artist who did a bunch of beautiful sketches at the very, very beginning. I did my own little sketches in watercolors to try and envision this thing. So it was very much like a developing thing throughout the movie.
Were you thinking a lot about how scary you wanted to make the movie in while you were either writing or making it and things like that? Did you kind of know there was like a place where you had to stop and not make it too scary, or?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I wanted to make it as kind of scary as I could without sort of sabotaging like the integrity of the emotional journey and what the movie was really about for me, which was kind of this magic and folklore and the kind of characters healing process. So it was very much using fear to kind of supplement those bigger themes for me, and using it more as a language than kind of a plot itself.
Yeah. It was hard for me while watching this movie not to think this movie was made by someone who watched Lady in the Water way too young. That's a pretty scary movie.
Yeah.
That's a pretty scary movie,
It
actually.
is a very scary movie. Yeah. Yeah, and I remember Lady in the Water like it was yesterday. That was like a very formative movie experience for me.
Oh, nice, nice. So let's talk about Dakota. I mean, getting
Yeah.
Dakota. Oddly, I met Dakota when she was 11. I don't know. This is kind of a theme, running theme.
Wow.
Having been doing this so long, I meet everyone when they were
Lovely.
very young. What made you think of her to play Mina and get her involved?
I've always kind of had her in the back of my mind. I think with her kind of extensive body of work throughout her life, she sort of exists in the cinematic psyche as this really kind of important figure. And I think particularly for young women who sort of like my age group kind of grew up with her and sort of relating to her at different stages of her life. So I was really drawn to that element of it. I also feel that she is just so suited to genre. I think she has this kind of fairy tale-y, otherworldly essence about her, and I felt that she would kind of sit right within the tone that we were trying to create, and bring all her brilliance to it as well.
What about casting the others? I mean, Georgina's pretty well known, maybe from the modeling world. Owen, I'm
Yes,
not really familiar with. She's an Irish actress who's like
yes.
done like 1,000 plays or something like that. Or
Yeah,
how'd you find
she's
her?
she's incredible. Alwyn actually auditioned for us, but she was someone that actually my production designer had immediately read the script and said you should look at this actress. And when I saw her audition, she is just an incredibly compelling human being. She's like, yeah, totally. I was kind of struck because of all the characters, Alwyn was exactly how I had pictured Madeline and how I felt she was described in the book as well. So that was somewhat a surreal moment for me where I felt like, oh my God, this person that I've written this script and that A.M. Shine has written is existing and is there in Ireland. So it felt quite obvious that it had to be her.
She doesn't have a heavy accent or anything like that. Is that did you change it a little bit or
No,
no? No,
that's
okay,
her
okay,
that's her natural accent. She's Irish,
okay,
but I think there's so many different dialects there.
sure,
So, yeah.
yeah. Going back to shooting in Ireland, I mean, it's like
Yeah.
it's interesting because I mean, you have this infrastructure in Philadelphia for so
Yeah.
long. I don't know if you were making a movie the same time as your dad was making his movie for Warner Brothers, but did you have
Yeah.
to kind of like find your entire new crew, new team, everything to go to Ireland and do it, or did you have anyone you could use from the old gang?
Yeah, I think I would have been able to use people from Philly, but I think we tried to use as much Irish crew as we could.
Mhm.
So looked for kind of most of our people in the local crew there. They were totally wonderful and amazing, and they have like such a thriving, beautiful film community that exists over there in Ireland. And then I was just sort of looking for, in terms of like different departments, and my DP and my production designer, people who I felt sat right within this tone and were kind of wonderful artists on their own. So that was a really wonderful exploratory journey to sort of put us all together and like take advantage of their amazing artistic skills.
Did you get anyone from the Game of Thrones? Because I know Game of Thrones created this whole thing
Yes.
in Ireland.
Yeah, there was a lot of overlap there. I think that they've all kind of worked on all those things.
Oh, great. Well, so what's your next step as far as I mean, obviously you've done TV, you've done videos, you've done a movie now.
Hmm.
What's your next step? Do you want to stay in the thriller area, or do you want to kind of like try different things? Or
Yeah, I think for me the dream would be that I can continue to make kind of a body of like feature work that plays in this fantasy horror space. I think kind of drawing from different mythologies is really what I feel most passionate about doing. So that's my hope, is that I can continue to explore kind of in modern spaces those more fantastical ideas. So we'll see, but yeah, I got some ideas brewing as well.
did your sister do any music for the Watchers? I know she's kind of got branching off into a different direction for music
Yeah,
stuff.
no, she didn't do any music, but she did help me. There was like couple kind of score things and yeah, blending that I would like run by her, and she would kind of give me pro bono advice.
Yes, scoring is tough. I've spoken to a lot of composers and a lot of directors, and it's always like
Hmm.
it's a strange thing if you have a very specific. With music is like a different thing if you don't
I
have
know.
those chops.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm just like totally obsessed with my composer Abel Korzeniowski. I think he's created just an expansive, epic, beautiful orchestral score for the movie. He's like unbelievably talented. So I think that's actually one of the great superpowers of the movie is what he's built for it.